Well, good afternoon and welcome along. This is the grand final, the 20th anniversary of this event to conclude the 2023 LPGA Tour of Korea season here at La Vie et Belle for a 3-round competition for some final classification and a big prize for one final time before next week's 2-round We Made Championship. It is a cool autumn afternoon with less than 80 players in the field and no risk of missing the cut this week. Everyone will be around for each of the 3 going all the way to Sunday afternoon. Park Young-young, she is even at the turn and sends her tee shot comfortably into the fairway. 4 under currently the score to beat. It is Chung So-Yi through 14 holes of play at 4 under par. Sang-hyun, she is out with a 38 at +2. Down in tie for 30th at the moment. We do only have 10 players under par through this point in this opening round Friday. Crossing around to a lovely approach just onto the front of the green, right where the pin is located in this opening round. Imjini off to a scorching start for herself as well at 3 under. That is sole possession of second, only 1 back and still half the round to play. Nearly inch perfect. One more little nudge, and that will be an efficient yet slightly disappointing result for Park Ji-young. As we might expect with the second week of November, it is chilly today, 10 degrees, but hardly a cloud in the sky. The wind is playing fairly calm across the course, just steady around 3.6 meters per second. Little right to left putt that is just on the cusp of breaking away to the inside. But 1 steers that very well and gets her first birdie of the day. It was a very difficult par 4 for her earlier in the round where she hit a triple. A couple of penalties costing her some serious strokes, but beginning to work back towards even with that first pickup of the day. And over to 11. It's Hung Yu-min right on the money. Of course, she's in something of a personal battle herself this week. Currently ranked second and trailing by 300 points off of Kim Min-byul. So even if Hung Min were to win the event and Kim Min-byul were to finish at the very bottom of the leaderboard due to the point accumulations, it would not be enough to dethrone her, so it is a second place secured. And for Bungsheen Shieldus, she goes up to 2 under. Third birdie of the day, starting the back 9 well. All the way to the bottom of the fairway, just a little lift up. Pak Sung-hyun. Henson sticks and actually curls back towards the front of the green. Not the right club if she could have a chance to do it again. Go to 9, Bak Jiang gesturing that is well left, and she's hooked that around and gone down into the little bit of the valley just off of the fairway there. Some stars in this group. Imjini, Isomi, and Minji. It is Imjini with a chance to move into a share of the lead with this uphill right to left putt for a birdie. Glances and pops out. Unfortunately will not drop. Settle for a par, keep herself within 1. It was a great run, that 4, 5, and 6, each with birdie. Just a little bit short. So we tap in, the lead stays at just the 1 stroke. Jung through 10 holes plus 4. Wind at her face, which will help slow her down. And on and off the green in a mere matter of a second or two. We'll stop in the fairway. Tricky one in that this fairway sloping all the way up towards the rough, and it's a true test of the short game precision. And it's too close to the fringe. You'll be right off the green, as we just seen from Amy Jung, but it can also slip away from you on the opposite side of the pin. Now, Ebo me at 10. Didn't catch that particularly well. Really tricky to try and come up and tiptoe it down the left side of the green. Give yourself a chance. And Kim Min Byul. A little pitch and run. Very nicely played. With about 5 feet. Me the second time is the charm. Only a few feet for the putt to try and make sure that any descent is a relatively small one. The applause for reaching the green, but 12 is playing something of a cruel customer today. You need to get up on that little perch atop the hill. If you're short, very difficult to stay on the green. We go to 10. Speaking of complex putts, downhill almost all the way. Park Sung-hyun with a nice touch. Two putt par written all over it, though.
좀 멈춰주세요. 움직이지 말아주세요, 뒤에는.
William Genie comes into the week leading the power rankings on the tour.
Shot.
Another decent outing for her last week at the S-Oil Championship, tied for 11th, just outside of the top 10. It was an unconventional finish to the tournament, considering we got about half of the final round in before the weather took a turn for the worse, and we had to classify the final results based on the third round performances. Park Young, she's pulled this and looked on a bit helplessly, hoping it wasn't going to continue to roll much further. It's a decent chip for the rookie to the highly experienced veteran next, Park Sung Hyun. Required to keep herself at +2. Ibomi failing to get up to the green on her first pitch. Able to reach on the second and rolls in a bogey. Her third of the day has her at +3 and down for a tie for 38th position. Peng Shiel almost playing that chip. An intentional line drive into the hill takes all the speed out of it. Should get up and down without much drama. Crisp, sunny autumn afternoon here at La Vie Belle. Chen Shi, 20th anniversary playing. The 32nd and final event of the season. This is the SK Shieldus SK Telecom Championship. First day, first 18 and 54 holes. We'll step aside and be back for more as Chung So-hee continues to lead at 4 under par. $200 million won in prize money for the champion. $1 billion, the final purse of this season. And of course, the stars turning up have to be a player with a pretty esteemed resume or a fantastic 2023 season to be one of the 77 invited to this week's event. Team Genie with more podium finishes than she can count on one hand this season. Another really aggressive pin placement in this opening round. Do not want to miss left. Brings the valley in nice and quick. Next shot up at 12 is going to have enough speed to roll up to the top. That's birdie written all over it.
저기 마운드 탑은 149야.
One that would have been back-to-back birdies. A rather impressive shot with the pitching wedge in hand. She can come into the event this week with a lot less pressure on her shoulders after what she was able to accomplish this season. So made official after the S-Oil Championship that she was going to be the prize money and prize points champion for 2023. So there's still motivation to have one more win by season's end. Rare pitching wedge putter for Park Ji-young, who just needed one final tap. Ibomi. Not quite as long with this initial drive. She's going to get a great run down. Speed will come in from that downslope. Set herself up quite well for a birdie. "35 years of age now, native of Suwon. 25 wins in her professional career, 4 of them on the LPGA Tour of Korea. Another 21 on the Japanese circuit. And Park Ji-young at even. Her approach on 11, a little bit more shallow to the front, and that will set her up well, just as Ibomi had done. Yet another player with double-digit wins in her career. 10 of them on the LPGA Tour of Korea, and likely the most prestigious, the U.S. Women's Open back in 2017. Just a bit of target practice for everyone in the group. Another nice hole in progress that will be capitalized on with just a slight challenge for a par. Amy Jung goes to +3. Fantastic comeback story for her, dealing with plenty of adversity. You mean this is as much a preparation or setup putt as it is an attack? I'm going to start this well to our left side of the picture, knowing that the break is going to come in fairly quick. Starts it wide, here it comes. Just how good is the line? A little bit overhit. It's about 6 feet. Down to the front half of the green. Stayed right when it needed to be, a bit more left from our leader. Shieldus starts her run up on 13 for birdie. Weight was good. 4 feet to its left. And Park Sung-hyun is a little bit off of that putt. Score will stand pat. Over to 14, seeing Lee Dae-yeon for the first time today. Not taking any chances with the rough, just a few paces before the pin. Bit of a heartbreaker that for Park Hyung-kyung, who thought this was the hole where she was going to finally get to even, but she'll climb off that green still at a steady score through a dozen holes now. And you'd be looking for a par as well. She had to work for this one.
나는 그렇게 보이기는 전체적인 라인을 살짝 우측.
Ibomi just, and only just, wide right. Stood up as she realized she was not going to be scoring low here. Ibomi, that's the par. Stays at +3. And hole number 12 here at La Vieille-Belle. 152-meter par 3 with the absolutely breathtaking landscaping around the green. Not a course, or not a hole, excuse me, on this course where you want to be left. Of course, the 3 unique sand traps also quite the drop down into the rocky underside of the hill. 3 distinct stages of the green here, and the pin placement today, as we see the flag flapping in the breeze, right stage towards the back of it. To the back, but much more left than she needed to be. Young lofted shot at number 10. Side spin to the edge of the fringe, but stays on with a decent look at a birdie. been frustrated by the sluggish start to this grand final. EA won in a similar boat thanks to a rare triple bogey for her. Much better approach everyone off to that correct left side. And Ide on the long way back. Heads away fairly rapidly. About 5 feet remaining for a par. So Jung So-Hee continues to lead from Idayanim Genie, 4 under and 3 under, the top 3 respectively. Pengxin Shield 4th at 2 under, and a handful of players tied for 5th at 1 under par. This SK Shieldus SK Telecom Championship from the VA Bell. Jung So-Yi with a few players hot on her heels from where she had been when we came on the air some 46 minutes ago. Hasn't been able to do much at all to build upon that slim advantage. EA1 finally got one of her birdies back, but struggling a bit with that putter today. Young couldn't find the green whatsoever. That initial tee shot should be able to go up and down.
언니 제가 먼저 할게요.
Park Ji-young can have the deficit. She needed to have that putt. Bungshi and Shield, an uncharacteristic miss. Fires a dart into the hillside rough. Was unable to roll out. As we head back to the par 3. Park Sung-hyun. That putt was going to break in a dangerous way, either left or right. Tries to go conservative, but left a little bit of power off. It's nice and precise, but capitalizing now. Still some distance to overcome here for Park Sung-hyun. Bravely taken and expertly made. Started the round with a bogey, birdied the following hole, double bogeyed 3, and has had all pars since.
Okay, shot.
Tee shot.
An eventful tee shot, which is often the best kind of tee shot. Mimi Jung into the fairway. Let's fast forward along to hole number 17, another par 3, this one 160 meters. About a month ago, or even into the summer, it is quite a striking little grass valley all the way down to the pin with the curtain bunker around the front right all the way to the pot bunker at the back. Just about divide this green into 2 sections, right and left, with everything moving down towards the cart path. The hole today, 37 yards deep the green, 7 yards from the right fringe, and 15 yards from the back as we see Jung So-Yi's approach. Sticks right to the front, just about pin high, but a little bit left, and can't stay safely on the top of that plateau. Continuing to manage from around the green, Peng Shield from the hill. A few short yards away from jarring that for a bird. Genie right on the button, rolls that in and becomes a co-leader now, and it took her just 11 holes to reach it bogey free, and the last time she started an early 9 with the birdie, she put 3 in a row together. And Hung You Mean just off right.
그럼 먼저 할게.
And Jung Soo-yi, who now has some company at the top, has struggled on this back 9, to put it mildly, and that smile, the giggle really that we saw earlier, has certainly faded. It was a breathtaking opening 9 with 5 birdies. The eagle at 10 to start the back, and hasn't been able to sustain it since. Jung Yoon-ji, that ends up being 2 putts, as she is toiling away, tied for 5th at 1 under as well. To EA1 in the sand on the par 5. Pulls that back on a string. Likely won't be able to keep this on the green. Does roll off into the green side rough. 5-iron for Genie at the tee at 12. Gesturing that she wants this to get left. You can see why. It would have brought her much closer to the pin, but it stops on the fringe. And this will be a helpful little roll. Brings her back closer to the birdie that she's been chasing since hole number 5. It was at 5 the last time she put a circle on the scorecard, and it saw her at 2 under with bogey 9. Next up is Somi with a 6. Springy arrival, and Ginny went to the fringe at the front. Isami goes much closer to the back.
살짝 원줄.
13 is next. It is a long iron for Park Hyun-kyung of 5 as she tries to go up the hill onto the green, and she is going to stay as it plays a bumper and actually brings it delectably back online. Surely with just 5 or 6 feet remaining. A golden opportunity for Park Hyun-kyung, who has just found the one birdie thus far today, back at 8. There it is again. Shaped like a boomerang. Really nice path. Sung-hyun. She's going to get a similar helpful roll. Didn't need to be as dramatic of a path, but she is nice and close as well. Working around the green, EA1, and this group last to finish 11. Wedge play has been one of the many reasons for her unrivaled success this year. Bang Min-ji, it has not been the start to her tournament that she would have been aspiring for when she arrived at the course today. +7 through 10 holes. Of course, she has dealt with some adversity off the course as well the past few weeks. She's had almost the full month off due to diagnosis of neuralgia. Saying this week, I realized how happy I am to participate in the competition healthfully, excuse me. Saying I kept training and taking care of my body, so I feel much better now. Did my best to get good scores with sharp shots. Obviously that hasn't quite gone to plan thus far today. And an in form and fully fit Peng Minji is making that birdie more times than not. So me had about 12 meters to work with. Used about 11 and a half, and we'll have a tap in next. And Green Genie ends up taking 2 swings of that putter. Stays at 4 under. If you've been able to work their way across this fantastic Levier Bell facility, quite like ENG, though we will be certainly keeping a close eye on Lee Dae-yeon, who has now joined the fray at 4 under, tied for first, and Chung So-yi on 18, who we will watch conclude her round when we return to our opening round coverage of the 2023 SK Shieldus SK Telecom Championship, the grand final on the KLPGA Tour. Well, it's the moment she's been chasing for about 90 minutes, and watching that ball not want to comply has her head hung looking skyward in frustration. EA1's felt that today. Another opportunity to get some strokes back. Just gonna have enough speed to get to the top. Almost a guaranteed birdie with a fantastic tee shot like that. Park Sung-hyun, she goes to +1. And a roar for the wildly popular veteran. 5 holes to get to even or lower, tied for 16th now. Park Jung hanging around, still within 3. She grabs the 6-iron off the tee at 12. Wind's certainly doing her no favors, the left to right breeze, and she finishes right and off the green. And the par 4 18th next. Jung So-lee close to dead center of the fairway, 234-meter drive. The red cursor in the background pointing to the back of the green. That is where the flag is in today's opening round. The way ENG and Lee Daeyeon are playing, doesn't feel like 4 under would be enough for a lead after round 1. Trying to force the issue with one of her best shots in the last hour or so of play. Just has to capitalize on it for one final time today. Would be the 67th and final stroke of this opener. And you mean on the par 5 15th. Tucks that in nicely. Calm winds certainly helping things today on a 10-degree autumn afternoon. This is the grand final, last official event of the season, but pretty cool 2-round competition to come next weekend. Mid championship with some bragging rights and some modern day and slightly unconventional prizes. Some NFTs up for grabs next week for the winners. A little bit shallow. Imjini, understanding, wasn't her best shot of the day thus far. Just a little flop shot on 18 from Kim Min-ju. Using the rough to cushion it, take some of the speed off. Just about inch perfect. Going all the way to the back right on the money. And Pengxin Shield. Kept her opportunity for eagle alive to the very end, considering most of the flag would have been hidden from view down the hill there. Kimisuji, 123 from the fairway. See how brave she goes with this line. The answer ends up being not particularly aggressive, goes right down the middle and stops up on the hillside behind the green of the par 4. And now Kim Min-ju trying to get up and down. Their 71st shot of the round. A little right to left and downhill, but it breaks away. Bounces to the inside, will be bogeying, and that is an even par 72 to begin the tournament. From just off the green, electing to putt, and it was just about perfect. Jin Young 2 for a par in a 75, but pushed. She did so well to put herself in a fantastic spot for maybe a 5-footer, but misreads the green and is going to have to settle for that 68 after all. Carrying quite the speed. To be right on this green, but a frustrating round for Park Young continues. She goes all the way left. From the rough, needing to really muscle this up. Come on, baby. Birdies not quite coming as fast as they'd be hoping. And now Hung Min, the most recent candidate, and she is also going to fall victim to a par. The grand final, it's not supposed to be simple. Jung all the way to the end of the fairway. Wind almost completely still as she lifts this up on the par 5. Couldn't quite get the backspin to get it to stay, and she's down into the rough. Perch above the green. This putt starts to move back online. About 4 more yards worth of speed. Suji at +4 today. It's tied for 36th. Jung So-Ee's 68 confirmed as she lets the opportunity for birdie go by the wayside at 18. Lee Dae-yeon on 16. Tied with Imjini as well. All at the top at 4 under. Pungshin Shil. She remains the second best, score of the tournament thus far. 2 under, sole possession of 4th. Chae-rim, Matasom, Park Ji-young. 1 under, tied for 5th. Halfway through our opening round coverage of the Shieldus SK Telecom Championship 2023 at Levier Bell. Nearing the bottom of the clock, 3:30 p.m. nearly local time. Olivia Bell and Chun Shi. Certainly making this opening round a little bit more difficult for herself than it perhaps needs to be. So me back to even. 5 holes to play and has completed the recovery effort. Young has just a trio of holes to play. Her approach with the 6-iron on 16 needs the speed to climb. Gets a helpful boost from the wind, pushing her to a great spot. If she can capitalize, she will take the outright lead and be the first to 5 under.
Nice ball!
Important par. Not the score she's wanting. They're letting her down slightly in this opening round, but still lots of golf to be played here. The A1 also a little birdie starved. Not quite your run-of-the-mill putt, as that will be downhill with some break. It'll be a quick one. Consecutive holes. Baksan staring down mid-range putt to avoid bogey, and she's done it again.
옆에 있는 나도 깜짝 놀랐어요. 프로비저널 볼 칠게요.
Tour never one to shy away from the pageantry and extravagance, formerly known as the ADT Caps Championship, the presentation of 1 billion won from the ADT security detail earlier in the week. Yeah, just not quite getting the read right. not the kick she was expecting or needing. Jian goes next to get to 2 under, just a slow roller.
괜찮아요.
The shadows and the relative cold aren't helping. That's very uncharacteristic. So after a good drive, it's 136 and a 6-iron for ENG. Takes a little bit of extra club to make sure she was able to combat the headwind.
나이스 차! 그렇지, 나이스.
Day unable to complete the 4-footer to become the first player to reach 5 under and takes the outright lead for now. So in a little spell of trouble here, just missing the sand, but anything but an orthodox stance. I think she was expecting miracles, but she would have been hoping to stay on the green from there, just couldn't get underneath it enough. It'll be a long walk around the border of this green. And the next approach is a rather good one. At least it appeared to be. Gravity and a little bit of suspense to the end as that trickles off. Noisome working the long way back. Much better contact and a much better result this time around. Now ENG on the par 5. Continues to play some pretty nice, more than that, some pretty great approach shots, but now she just needs to get on the downside of the equation, and the birdies will start to follow. Now Kim Soo-ji, just about the other side of the green. She wasn't having some struggles in the round, that would have caused a much bigger celebration from her, but probably a pretty wonderful feeling to finally see a birdie come to fruition. Neatly inside of Young's approach. And she's got an extra hole to work with, but even Janine trying to not let the lead slip away and start to build out of her control. It's not quite the break she was anticipating. Just as she had been before she played that first putt. Is tied for runner-up as she heads to the 15th tee and a long par 5 to try and go low. This is who she is chasing. 7-iron on 17, the final par 3 of the day. Not quite where she needed to be, and that's not done. Rolling closer to the outside fringe. Lee Soo-young, a relatively uneventful day thus far. She's on 18 at +1. Lee Bo-mi down at +5. If we were going to have a cut after tomorrow's round, Lee Bo-mi would be teetering on the verge of missing it. Not quite time to assign too much pressure or risk being hyperbolic, but if for nothing else than the mental boost, probably the most important putt, most important shot of the day thus far for Park Hyung-jung. She'll be elated to see the 1 under beside her name on the scoreboard at long last, and she even allows the smile to slip through. Goes T5 and goes under par for the first time in the tournament. 16. Long uphill putt from Peng Xin-shil with a bit of a push from the winds. Pins that down off the stick and does pick up her birdie with a great putt. Had her bogey at 3, but since then picked up 4 birdies comfortably. Kwon So-yeon will be finishing her round on hole number 9 at +2. We'll just be able to eke through under the first few blades of grass of the green. And Park Sung-hyun to even. 3 to go, big roar. That's 2 birdies in the last 3 holes inside of the top 10. Much to the delight of the patrons behind the green. Park Ji-young, a celebratory moment as well with that nice putt. On the par 3 17th, Dion with the chance to make her lead 2 strokes. Needs to get right.
ナイス。
Eventually does. Last of the break, though, coming when she was level with the hole.
Okay.
Joyon with the celebratory final moment. Birdie at the last. And EA1. And her +2 score now gets a little bit closer. Final few moments of final few holes, excuse me, of her opening round. Joyon, by the way, finishes at +5. That is narrowly inside of the top 50. Me with a par and a nod of the heads as well. Long way out and made to look a casual stroke for Kwon So-yeon, who birdies to come in with a 37. Out with a 36, a +1 opening round as the dust settles. Now Lee Ga-young. Her penultimate hole, this for +4, and she's got it. Field coming alive. Shockingly, her 17 holes to birdie for the first time today, but always a nice time to get the proverbial monkey off the back. One unable to sort out her read there. 5-footer with very little break that she misses and descends once again to +3. So-yeon can also reclaim an even par score heading to the 18th and final. It's 10 meters precisely. Has got to start. Stay straight all the way through and just a bit short on top of it. Young through another as we head to 18 with Che Ream. Her approach well off the mark. She went to the back, but the back left when she needed back right. Luckily, as that is off the green, she'll have the chance to play a little bump and run or a pitch. Or maybe a 4-footer. Slight tinge of movement on this putt. The wind picks up and Idayan steps out. As the quick reset goes about her business. And we'll head to 18, still in control of the event. We get to the par 3. This is Pengxin Xiu. Green lights. Now that the green is clear, 160. She can certainly swing it. Would have had the chance to play 5 or 6, but either way, she is well off the mark and into the sand. You mean this is 17? And a relatively familiar sight here. The right to left wind, but this green remains wide open with the first 2 rookies on either side of the putting surface. Genie not quite at it. And approach at number 16. And on the tee at 18 is the leader Idayan.
Shot.
Up, skip, and a roll to the right edge of the fairway alongside the water, but makes it in regulation. As we have nearly made it through 2 hours. Second round of the weekend. Idayan off to a good start. We'll see if she can reach 6 under for a 66 and make it a 2-stroke advantage over ENG. More from Levier Bell just around the corner. This is our opening round coverage of the SK Shieldus SK Telecom Championship, the grand final for 2023. Park Young nears the finish line. Jae Reem trying to round the perimeter on 18. And certainly picking up as we get within just a couple of hours of sunset here in Chuncheonshi. Tee shot into the fairway, the approach on the par 4. 3 to go for Park Young. Looking for consecutive birdies now after finally getting number 1. Tough with the length of this hole. You're not quite the power hitter, or the wind isn't in your favor. You lose a whole bunch of control with the 5 wood. Speaking of control, Pungshin Shield on the par 3 into the greenside bunker, not able to escape it. Had she had an extra yard or 2 of carry, that would have been an extraordinary approach. Seven iron for Park Seung-hyun. Slightly different plan of attack. So we'll keep her on the green, but we'll keep her on the first stage of it. Chipping from the left side, it's Hung Yumin. A little bit short, will stop above the pin. And this will break to our right. Just on time. She moves inside the top 10. That is birdie number 4 on the day. Back to 18. The lead is 1. She doubles it. If she is able to pull out, it is what's at stake for Ida Jae Reem. That was a par save. That doesn't quite wish to comply. Slow, methodical, and drawn-out backswing. And a putt that shoots by. Plenty of Friday red today out of this group. Genie on the tee. That's 16.
굿샷.
Par 5s in the rear view. 2 par 4s and a par 3, all that remains, and the first drive is a good one. This time the little pitch was played almost perfectly. It will end up costing Pengxin Shield stroke. And now ENG in 3. Already finds herself 9 back. This is to avoid dropping as she finishes her round on hole number 9. Hoping to end a frustrating first day. 3 feet. Some noticeable lateral movement. Ends up denying her the par. Round 1 concludes with bogey. Out with a 41, in with an even 36, tied for 44th at plus 5 through 18 holes. And you mean 6 feet up the hill, not a lot of break in, avoids dropping. 3 bogeys in the final 4 holes of the front 9. She has avoided them altogether through all but 1 hole on the way in. See just how much of the fringe Park-In-Gyung tries to grab here. Could have used any of it. She goes onto the green and doesn't quite slow up in time. Already set up the outline of what's to play for Ida on here. 8 iron goes right over the sand. Counter out of it, but not as fully attacked as she would have been hoping for. Go back to 16, 13.4 uphill. Gonna go heavily right to left from our vantage point, and then it needs to straighten out. Factor line was too good. Park-In-Gyung's ball marker takes the remaining speed off that putt, and now we'll never know. There's a big rip for Han Yu-min. She goes to the fairway to start hole 18. carrying along. That's EA1. Finally getting that setup shot to really help her out. Should be hoping she can find one birdie here and spur a little run on the way into the clubhouse. 2 putts and she will feel like it's all but guaranteed to have at least a piece of the lead. It's 9.6 though to make it 2. Downhill speed's going to come in quick here. And she has one last little splash of magic. Quietly but very effectively going about her business today. A bogey-free round with 2 birdies on the front 9 and 4 on the back. 66 to open the tournament. The score that ENG won with back in 2018. Only 3 off of what she had done last year to secure the spoils. That means ENG is going to have to dig deep into the reserves, try and keep pace, but another one of many who is not able to get past that first stage of the green. Uphill effort for EA1, but missing ingredient is still MIA. Two of the top 3 are through, but Lee Dayan comfortably ahead with a brilliant putt to finish the round. Park Ji-young and her 1 under is still enough to keep her inside of the top 5. Pang Shin-shield 2 under for 4th. Pang Yimin, Park Sang-hyun, Park Young-gyang, Park Do, Niso, Miso, Jin amongst those tied for 6th at even. J. Bell. Of course, French for life is beautiful. This course certainly lives up to that moniker. 36-hole facility, the old course in the Dune course. Out here playing on the old course, and maybe vintage would be a better way to describe, more appropriate for this championship. Some exciting players, of course, with Ibo Mi and Park Sung-hyun, the veterans in the field. Some previous winners, Jihan Soan, Sung-yi, So Hee-gyung, and Bang Min-ji. Previous champions of this event, the latter two, So Hee-gyung and Bang Min-ji, multi-champs of this competition. Also great to see Bang Min-ji back after a few weeks off due to illness. Who will be finishing the season as the second top performing rookie. Trying to find a little bit of late round precision and excitement. That is a nice approach. And on 16, Im Genie has provided more than her fair share of excitement so far today, but has been stalling out. Met and eclipsed Dayan a little bit earlier, and just in a little bit of a dry spell, as it were. Birdies at 4, 5, and 6 on the back nine is hole 11. Bogey free, which is key. Go to the final par 3 for the veteran Park Sung-hyun with the 5-iron. Skirts that left side and isn't going to be able to stay before a little descent, a long way from her target. Uphill left to right, but a bit too much of that left to right for Hung Yamin. Would have been a nice birdie to bookend the day. She will settle for a par, and through 18 holes, the score is 72. Back-to-back birdies to start it. 3 bogeys in the last 4 holes of the front 9. An early birdie on the back. Tied for 6th. End of her Friday round. And Punching Shield just onto the fringe here. And also missing to that same side of the cup. Up to 17. Young, short, and to the beach. Roller for Im Genie. Par, and has just the 2 holes to go. Carey Park, she's at +5 on her 18th hole of the day, and short. Trying to stay close, but I would have been, or will be, yearning for a little extra. Sun just peeking above the tree lines. We get late in the day, 4:23 local. Kim Chae-hee playing her second. She's a +6. Out of this group, over 1 on the first approach. Amy Jung at that same score, +6. She's got the iron. See that she's on, but we also see that she's still got work to do. Picking it up and guiding it to inside of 5 feet. Good recovery, but can she have the down portion of the equation next? Came in beyond the last approach and well left. She'll stay on, she'll get a bit of a rollback. Certainly underhit. Certainly a bold call as well to say, I'm going to putt this from well off the green. Thought she had a better read on it than she did. And now Carey Park, just a little dribbler. Glances that off the fringe, and she'll be looking at one final bogey. She finishes, the hole finishes the day out and in both with 39s. That's +6, tied for 58th. many times today has she been in this moment? And how many times has she been able to avoid a punishing score? Just a bit too much work on 17. Cost her what she will hope is just the one stroke. In and around 16, this is Park Ji-young. High lofted pitch shot. Really good. Really nice. Deft touch from around the green.
이 정도 보면은 왜 그러냐면 여기가 일단 힘있게 힘있게 가기 때문에 홀컵 아래서 커트한다는 느낌으로 쳐도 돼.
Next trio of finishers on the green at 18. It's going to need a pretty good starting speed to make sure it reaches. Maybe a little bit too shallow. If there was ever a still image to symbolize the day, it would be that from Park Ji-young. Back to 18, Imi Jung. Decent first attempt. She will have that putt to conclude a round of 78. Unfortunately for Park Sung-hyun, it will be a relatively short period of time spent even par, or at even par, excuse me. Back-to-back 13-15 par the next, bogeyed 17 and slides back to +1.
한컵 살짝 더. 이렇게 잘 굴리지 않을 거야. 안디가 이제 일어났어.
Bill just couldn't quite get the mastery down today. Disappointing end for the 2023 rookie champ. Bogey and a 78. Ginny at the tee at 17. One of the better opening shots we've seen on this par 3.
뒤에 공간이 있어가지고
Jung for par. 78th stroke of the day, and the final stroke of the day on top of it. With one birdie all around long, a double bogey at 3 as well, just outside of the top 50. Lots of fairway with which to work, but none of it found. Again, Young will go next.
라이팅가 보여줘요.
We already saw the impressive arrival of this week's prize money, and ADT and SK Shieldus continuing to show some of the other services they offer, both on the market and for this event. A automatic external defibrillator flown in by drone is certainly a modern way to make sure your players, officials, and supporters alike are kept shape even in the most extreme of circumstances. Ibomi is next with a 175. Strikes that cleanly and gets a little bit of luck as she finds that very narrow stretch of rough in between the sand. I'll stop on the fringe. And she laughed. She was convinced that was beach bound. Young emerges from the warmth of her parka to play one of her better approach shots of the day. I get a nice help at the downslope into a prime spot for a pickup. No notes, no complaints. Should take probably 50 more of those approaches from here to the end of the week. And Abak Sunghyun, 144. Can't keep it down, can't keep it on the green. She sets it up and finally executes. Return to the birdie column after 5 holes away. Still bogey free. Still very much in the hunt. One back with one to play.
난 그래도 태우면은 볼 반개 정도는 받을 것 같아. 내가 먼저 해야 되겠다. 내가 제일 멀다. 속이 약간 있어 보이지?
많이 없을 것 같아. 전반적으로 치고 하고 많이 없어. 조금만 먹어도
열어봐도 될 정도예요?
This would have been a chance to get back to even. Runs it up through the rough, through the fringe, past pin high, and need one final extravagant putts to make sure it is just +1 by day's end. Downhill and right to left, but Buckdoan doesn't see that all the way she wanted. And Ebo Me diving inside and away. Nice recovery to par, tied for 6th at even after 18 holes. Late in the afternoon, in towards the early evening. 3 groups remain. $77 players. That will split $1 billion. The grand final for 2023 here at the VA Bell. Young rolls it in. Final group on. Excuse me, the final group. Final trio on the green, excuse me, which will allow the final 2 groups to come through. Imgini's standing by at the teeing ground. People me definitely a trying day at times. Starting off with a strong drive into the fairway. Bump and run for her as well. Up the little hill, taking some of the speed out. Is what is left for par. To left and perfectly on the money. Avoids back-to-back bogeys to end the day, tied for 13th with a 73 in the opening round.
Okay.
Tomorrow, she'll be hoping for a birdie, if not a few of them, and get herself back in the mix. But obviously, she's here to compete, but also understanding that her role is as much an ambassador for the tour, for the sport, as anything. One of the greatest this country has ever produced. As the sun continues to get lower in the sky, the temperature continues to cool down to 7 degrees Celsius. Kim Soo-ji with the go-ahead. Heads all the way down to the corner and gets positive kick. Hoping that that sets up a birdie. Next approach can't quite clear the rough, separating the bunker and the green. From the fairway rough to the greenside rough, Kim Soo-ji trapped. Defending champ a long way off it today. Bitten by the birdies. How few of them there have been. Into the last, still with just the one birdie to her name today. A little bit too much on that effort from Park Ji-young. Quick reset. Off she and the rest of the group head the final group of the day. It's a whole 18, but it is a bogey, drops it back to even.
왼쪽 라이 좀 봐야 돼. 라인은 안 볼 건데.
랜딩 거기 넘어서는 나이가 거의 없어. 그냥 그 랜딩 부분만.
근데 이게 58도보다 52도가 낫겠죠. 낫게가 좀 많이 낫게 갈 것 같은데. 확실히 굴러가니까.
거의 쉬워.
Isumi from the rough around the green. Good effort. Just about hold out for a dramatic birdie at the end.
여기까지만 오르막이고 확실하게 여기는 그냥 평지성 오르막. 평지성 오르막 오면서 약간 살짝 오른쪽 훅이야.
Quite as precise, but
오빠 좀 갖고 있어주세요.
decent effort from him. Ginny, nevertheless.
어디 같아?
응? 풀 그냥. 어디?
여기는 또
Have to get this downhill putt started, but fades away. She'll be hoping that this was the slowest round of her 3 this weekend, tied for 29th. 2 birdies, 3 bogeys, and a double for Kim Soo-ji in the opener.
거의 평지. 낮은 평지성 내리막 살짝.
She's been one of the brightest of the 77. Saves a special moment for the very end. Saves a par. Out with the 33, in with the 34, and bogey free. Finish 1 off the pace by the end of day number 1. Isomir rolls it up and in, tip the cap for an even par round. 5 birdies. Excuse me, 3 birdies, 3 bogeys. Very much in the mix, though some work to do tomorrow if she wants to take a chunk out of Lee Dae-yeon's advantage. Go through the opening round highlights as our protagonists are in and finished. Jung So-hee early was red hot. We started the broadcast with her in the lead thanks to shots like this, especially on the front 9. Putting really helping to build on that lead that she was looking poised to not relinquish after 2.5 hours or so of play. Hung Yoo-min would go back-to-back birdies to begin the opening round. She'd cool off slightly, more on that a little later. To 7, Jung So-hee at the time, 4 under, a 2-stroke advantage. She'd add another. It was 5 birdies in the first 7 holes of the day. 9 is next, trying to pad it as she slid over this approach shot from the fairway. Goes up, but well and truly short. Just misjudged the distance, especially with no wind. And she needed this to save a par. And it was always going to be tough, but the severity to which she missed that effort would be an unfortunate omen and a sign of some slow play to follow. This is hole number 6. Lee Dae-yeon still not quite a thought of a true contender. Back-to-back birdies, 5 and 6 was certainly a great start. Jung So-hee from the rough at 10. Tries to scoop it up, working over the tree, and much more akin to what we saw from her on the front 9. In fact, even ones up herself, hidden behind the tree, hears the roars and knows she is eagled. Goes to celebrate, especially after a bogey at number 9. More on 6. ENG at this point, 2 under through 5. Tack on another. The 3 back of top spot. Then on 14. Off the green, this her 4th shot. Needed to hole out to avoid a bogey, but despite really good weight on that chip, offline would cost her. The lead would shrink. We'd go to 11. 77 meters out on this par 5. Divot just beyond the cup. And Pengxin Xie would go on to finish it off quite smoothly. And ENG carrying over some of that great play from the front 9. That moved her to a share of the lead. Not long after, she'd go out and take it for herself. On 16, Lee Dayan quietly going about her business. Rolled that in on the par 4 for the 5th birdie of the round. Then at 10.4 meters and uphill and with right to left break. Shot so perfect, the sound couldn't have been any better. Pengxin Xie to 3 under. And to the hole that we just saw plenty of. Lee Dayan, one last special, and I do mean special moment. Slow tap to get it started. The line was textbook. It was perfect. The execution worthy of a shot like that. 6th and final birdie of the day. 6 under she'd go. Then on 17, ENG trying to move back within 1, take out right 2nd. Late in her opener. She'd go on to do just that. So quite the nice spread at the top. 6, 5, and 4 the top 3. Lee Dayan from ENG, Chung So-hui. Pengxin Xie a 70, 4 back, 2 under after 18 holes. Pak Do-eun, Hung Yoo-min, Pak Ju-young, Lee So-mi all tied for 5th with Chae-rim, Kim Min-ju, Pak Ji-young, So Jin, Pak Sung-hyun, Lee So-young, Chae Min-kyung, Kwon So-yeon all at +1 with another 5. Hong Jung-min, Pak Young-kyung, Lee Ju-mi, Oh So-min, the amateur, and the low amateur on page 2 of the leaderboard. Then we get into some tougher rounds, some over par scores. Lee Ga-young, Sung Ga-eun amongst those worthy of highlighting, tied for 33rd with 76s. Kim Mi-ji still out on course. She is playing hole number 9 right now. Could move to +3 with a birdie. Yun Se-rin and a past winner here, An Song-yi +5 on top of it. We have Chung Soo-gi, the rookie Kim Min-byul, Kim Woo-jung, Gary Park, all with relatively disappointing rounds. Another low am, and unfortunately all the way at the bottom, Chanana, An Sun-ju, and Peng Min-ji. 3 players who have set this tour light in years past, but struggling in the finale for 2023. We've gone the distance for round 1. We hope you enjoyed. We look forward to doing it again tomorrow. Same time that we got on the air. It is 2 p.m. local in Chuncheonji. And until then, we say thank you and farewell. On behalf of the whole SBS Golf crew, I've been Adam Jenkins. We'll see you tomorrow for round 2 of the SK Shieldus SK Telecom Championship, the grand final for 2023.